Shirley here with Jupiter Point of Thales, and this is memory part 2. So I talked about memory in my open road episode where I joined with the Talisman of the Moon, and the first part was kind of going through with memory, eyesight, and so on and so forth. And then I talked about filmmaking, which is really exciting. Filmmaking. I had a filmmaking teacher that said we have filmmaking thanks to our horrible eyes. And what he meant is that when you take 16 pictures and you set them to shoot in a minute, you don't see the in between of the pictures, so you have moving pictures. But if you put a fly on the wall, they will see flickering images. And so part 2 of the memory is that when those who try to act against you remembering things, okay, or you saying something, or you doing something, or doing something, then what is going to happen is that if they are success, either they're not going to be successful. Alternatively, if they are successful, you're going to say something, you're going to try to remember. Then you're going to go 7 levels deeper than what they wanted you to not say. You go 7 levels deeper into the core and you say that. Why? Because you're just trying to remember what you wanted to say. You think about people that have Alzheimer. They forget who they are talking with right now. They forget who they are talking with right now, but they remember childhood memories. So think about people who try to cause you amnesia. Try to cause you to forget, okay? You might forget something of the current moment. But then you say, I'm trying to remember, I'm going to set intention and let go. And while you're trying to remember, you're going to go over the many things that they were trying to make you not reach. While you might not even remember for what was it that you wanted to say. That's going back to the doing you. That's going back to the doing you. Now, the telos of it is very important. Say you don't want someone to talk about something. You have a strong energy in the current of, I don't want them to talk about this. Okay? Now, it's not supportive of their sovereignty. That's why it doesn't work. So you're pushing a certain energy, okay? And then what happens? What they do? They say they're not going to talk about that thing which you didn't want to talk. Now, they have to remember something that they do want to talk about of themselves, so they're going to go, but underneath that, let's say it says the energy, like the sphere and energy, underneath the sphere of energy, where they can refine themselves, what do they find there? Now, Pluto and Neptune, they work in that way. It's kind of like you surrender that, and then what's underneath, what can I talk about? Okay, then through that, and it's not intentional even, it's just your soul always reconnecting with what yourself. Just like when we want to, in the previous episode, I talked about avoidance, okay, and the dissociation. It's like, in your safety job, eventually comes Saturn, you're going to deal with the same things that you avoided in the job that you wanted to do, what you came here to do. But the flip side of it is when somebody tried to make you not do something and addressed it again, then what's going to happen? I addressed it through doing something. I want to address it through memory. And the thing is that you're not going to remember. Let's say the successful, not going to remember. I wanted to say something, I don't remember. Okay, then you're going to say something even worse. Now the thing is, you don't remember what you wanted to say. Let's say they're successful. Okay, you don't remember what you wanted to say. So you don't know what were they trying to make you not say. And so when you speak, you have no idea. There's a woo way around that. from both sides, because they're so busy trying to make you not do X that you're like, okay, I don't remember that. And then, but they're so busy there, like they're not going to talk about this, they're not going to talk about this, they're not going to talk. The way you begin to talk about something else, everybody's happy, and then boom. Now, you have no idea what word they're trying to make you not say. They are too busy to think you're not saying this, you're not saying this, you're not saying this. You already said that. And this is how, for those supposed limitations upon the freedom of speech work essentially. I can tell you that I saw this works time and time again. You don't want to say this, you don't want to say this, you don't want to say, oh wait, that I can't say, oh wait, that I can't say, oh wait, that I can't say. Then the cosmos finds a new innovative word for you to say, but exactly what they wanted you to not say is not even you, because you already forgot what you don't want to say. This is how memory works. This is how memory works. And Saturn, you want to think about Saturn as the limitation that inspires creativity. When we talk about boundaries, okay, then there's always this conversation that says there was this person that taught people how to dance. And he says, first exercise, dance whatever you like, do whatever you like, okay? People didn't know what to do. Then he puts a chair in the room. He said, improvise around that chair. Then people started improvising. Okay, they had one limitation, one boundary for this. You could. This is something that you have to. Okay, you have to do. Or this is something you must not do. That brought what? The limitation brought their creativity to light. And this is exactly what Saturn does. Now, there's nothing more Aries than necessity is the mother of invention. Definitely, Saturn in Aries is going to bring what? Well, necessity. And innovation. So we invent new ways, okay, to do things. Let's say certain ways to express your sovereignty, we know they're going to be limited. So what people find other ways. Think about COVID. During COVID, there were the lockdowns and this and that. Everybody learned how to do what? Say with me, astral project. It was in 2019 that University of Pretoria had to publish scientific articles. People were dealing with rape, what? In the astral, in the energy. So nobody can help you, nobody can help you, nobody. What happens in the end? You have to invent something. Now you don't know if that is effective or not effective. You have to stop what? Let's say violation of your boundaries, okay? You don't know effective, not effective. You try this, you try that, you that. If it stops, it's okay. Then, I don't know, 10 cities falls down. You said, what happened? Said, comes Archangel Michael. I said, you called me. I said, I called you. I said, stop the rape. He said, I stopped the rape. Said, oh, I thought my ex was trying to. Yeah, we were ex, but you said what? I said, for known and unknown, everybody involved with this, doing these things, okay, for to make it stop permanently. Yes, okay. I don't know. I thought that my ex would be starfish on their deathbed. Yes. So 10 cities for this. Archangel Michael said, you wanted to stop the rape? I said, okay. That stops the rape. He says, that's the minimum necessary? Minimum necessary. Really? Yes. This archangel, you're satisfied, happy, very happy. Even return to have like good sex, but fantastic. So how do you feel about the that? We're gonna have a lot of that in Aries, with Saturn in Aries, because people are gonna be like, well, I just want to do me. And something trying to limit what I do when it's not, and I'm not doing harm to others. Okay, what was the freedom? Where's the freedom of another end? With my sovereignty. When my sovereignty begins, the day of freedom ends. Then you try, with you innovate. Now with Neptune, you're gonna feel completely helpless. So you try this, you try that. You don't know if this is effective. What I would highly recommend is, okay, as much as you can, don't at least don't intentionally try to invade anybody else's sovereignty. You know, there are enough troubles in the world, but it's like at least like a good onset for Saturn ingressing into Aries with Neptune is, at least don't consciously set intention and act on trying to invade or violate another person's sovereignty. Like, that's the least. Remember that Aries is about the I am. It's not about collective rights. It's not about the rights of your culture. It's not about the rights of your religion. Nobody cares about your ancestry. This is the head of the baby. Head of the baby doesn't know ancestry. You know, sovereignty, you know, the self. Baby comes out of the womb, gets out of the water. It does what? That's Aries. When Mars was going from Pisces to Aries, the meme on Twitter was, with Aries, you see the imagery of the mythical knight, okay, on the horse and so on, and poetry and that, and then 0° Aries. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's Aries. Now, enjoying that necessity, while baby cries, first of all, it wants air. It doesn't know how to do that. It's outside. Then it cries, and then after you do the first of all, you hear your voice. That's never before, okay? If you hear that, I think at first you don't hear, I don't know. But it's definitely sense of vibration is different to the vibration of the womb. Then, if everything is okay, they breathe. Because after that screech, you naturally breathe, and now you got air, okay? But that's not enough. You need a hug. That's not enough. You want food. Where's the thing that constantly feeds you? Okay? They put you next to the thing that constantly feeds you, hopefully, okay? And so, So you get out of your comfort zone, okay? You don't ask, what did my father or father or father or father or father or father or father said about this question? Ain't nobody got time for that. It's a different type of condition. And that's, Neptune says that humanity en masse is going to go through for that stage of the head of the baby. Head of the baby comes out. So it's like a rebirthing or birthing of entire humanity. Whenever something goes to 0 degree Aries, it's a rebirth. Also, Saturn, with the authority figures, the rules, okay, they're having a rebirth. And you can't expect what would that head of the baby would be like. The I am. There are a lot of things scheduled for 0 degree Aries. We don't know what would the actual nature of them be. And so when it comes to humanity, to asserting our rights, people will find it funny that in a satirical, paradoxical way, as Neptune works, you're not going to necessarily be able to control the fact that you're doing you. Think about whistleblowers that expose corruption, where you're thinking to yourself, what is this person doing? Okay? They had no other thing but to do themselves. They couldn't help but doing them. And then through that surrender into doing you, people set boundaries with such intensity that, okay, we see the birthing of that, we already see with Mars in Cancer trining Saturn. We already see with Saturn in Pisces, where there is an element to surrender, and Saturn is boundaries. Surrendering the fact that you're setting boundaries. Jehovah let our people go from Wonderland. Surrendering the fact that I just said that. And I'm probably going to release that. I was probably going to be online. Okay? It's that surrender. Then Saturn comes into Mars sign. Now is surrendering the fact that you're going to do you. The I am is kind of like surrender the fact that you're going to be who you are. But it's not you're going to be who you are, you're going to do you. And that's everybody. Neptune. Everybody. Now, in the beginning, you might not even identify yourself what you're doing, because Neptune brings something that you want to think about: message in a bottle. You send a message in a bottle underneath the sea. Send a message in a bottle underneath the sea. Okay? And then that message in a bottle, the time to open it comes out. But with Aries, you try to open the bottle, you can't get yourself to open the bottle. Okay, or something happens, the bottle falls, the glass breaks. You want to think about you being, you're working at the office, a glass breaks, Saturn glass breaks. Okay, what's inside that glass leaks all over the place. What is that? It can be the programming that you have in the beginning, that's going to be. Then you might run, for the sovereignties, run into another. You might run into somebody who says, yeah, but that's programming. Where are you in that? Where are you in that programming? Because that's the initial reaction, it's initial action. So there's that leak. What's underneath? Okay, then the water spills, or whatever's in there, the water spills, the oil spills, whatever, and it dilutes. Because it's been packed, now it dilutes. Now you begin to heal yourself. That's going to happen over the course of 15 years. So we don't know. Pluto in Aquarius, that Saturn ruling Pluto in Aquarius, that glass is bound to break. And that glass that broke was basically the jail you broke out of. Okay? Now Pluto is going to rejuvenate your nervous system to do in you. It's not what the coping, it's not what the program, it's not what Alice said, what good Alice, bad Alice, this person, that person, okay, whatever's, no. And when we talk about the underneath of underneathness, we also talk about a birthing where you are even, sometimes it's not even a rebirth, you are being born. All that programming is leaking, stripping away. Have no algorithm to rely on. Some people will not even be able to move for the nervous system because all they knew was nervous systems that have been programmed in. So it might look like paralysis, or it might look like a movement that is agitation of movement, and so on. Then people will have to learn how to activate the nervous system like a baby. And Neptune brings in miraculous healing. Your actions, suddenly, if I take the testimony of Annika Lucas, that she had this access, okay, it was something all throughout what she'd been through and so on, something was still kind of like a spiritual cushion, was still holding her. Receiving, even through the horror, okay, receiving something. That's Neptune. So along the lines of that, what Saturn's going to be doing in those 3 years, and then Neptune completes the job because you're surrendering what's not you. But it's not going to look like that in the beginning. And the coping mechanisms don't work no more. What you used to scare people off, for example, don't work no more. Then you have to tend to the core issue, okay? You try to bring what, I don't know, bad Alice comes out, okay? Bad Alice comes out and the person said, that's not you, that's the programming. I'm not the person who raped you. That's something, there's a programming, there's an onset to try to get it on me, okay? What's underneath? Okay, how do you access you? How do you recover for something that initially was made during infanthood to be born, even in the womb, split? Now, Saturn rules what? Pluto. Pluto is doing what? Rejuvenating a nervous system. So if your nervous system was on set here, bad Alice comes out. Okay? Now, there's a crisis point. Somebody says, bad Alice come out, and bad Alice doesn't come out. Or bad Alice comes out on the programmer. Okay? There's some glitch in the system of the programming. And then another self says, but my entire income is based on being a programmer. You were just setting yourself up, or for the system was setting you to set yourself up until now, so that your livelihood is basically based on what? Your inner death. And I don't mean that orgasmically. So the system was setting you up to set yourself up so that you say, my life depends on my death. Or your life depends on your life. What does that even mean? Okay? A lot of these things are gonna pop up and resurface in all of us. Some of us have programming, we don't even know we have programming. And then throughout the 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius, certain cults will be removed, but it's basically innerly, before a cult is removed, the programming is removed. And what was not the authentic self, okay, leaks, dissolves, melts, disintegrates, and what's created there, more authentic self. That's for the 3 years of Saturn in Aries. Then what Neptune does is going underneath. We think about the bottom of the ocean. We want to work with Fomalhaut on that. Going to the bottom of the ocean, and there is an I am lying there that's going to resurface, smelling rose essential oil as I'm doing this. Doing a wave shape and smelling my rose essential oil as I'm saying that, and that is going to resurface. And it's going to happen miraculously, because with Neptune, you don't even remember putting it there, and something was not used, so preset. Okay, if just, let's say something was missing at your birthing time, when the head of the baby comes out, that's Aries. You also want to think about the house where it's at and what is affecting you. And those experiences are going to have miraculous healing to those experiences. It's a loss of certain identity, but you regain another identity. Again, I invite us to look back at COVID and think about all the many people that to meet their friends or partners or whatnot, especially non-monogamy community, we've had a lot, they were learning new techniques, new tricks. So they were learning to encounter one another in ways that before that didn't exist. They existed, but not for them. And they're learning to set boundaries in those realms. Okay, one of the things when you learn how to channel, you're going to have to set boundaries. Okay, it's like, but I've been avoiding people because... Okay? And Then something happens. You say, "Well, but I want to try to chant." And all the drama you had to deal with people now goes into another realm. A lot of us had this in COVID. A lot of us had this in COVID. One of the things you talk about curation from abuse, okay? And one of the things that people say, who would believe me? Then they go to therapy of specifically that type of abuse that they've been through because they know that they know this, the literature and they're going to believe them. Okay? Then what happens? They see a crisis in the therapist. Now, who is going to believe that? That's Neptune. Okay? Until essentially they have to bridge that over with society. So Neptune is known to be doing those things. But Neptune also brings you the miraculous healing. One of the things celebrities are so influential. People talk about the fall of celebrity culture. Yes, I addressed that in previous episodes why we see that happening. But why celebrities are so influential? Because for most people, they're like, nobody's going to believe me. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody this, nobody that. Then you have an Instagram live with your favorite singer and they have CPTSD. Now, with them, you have a connection more with than with your parents, and that works both ways. They get you in a certain way. Okay, that goes both ways. It is, or when you have a situation where I catch on the energy of this, I get it. Who's going to understand what's happening to me? Then you say you have a chat with your favorite celebrity. I'm like, I know exactly what character they were thinking of when they were shooting that scene. I see it in the energy. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Okay. But this is also how Neptune is isolation. So you get isolated from something, someone's missing, and then there's a wonder that appears. Now, a part of it is a mirage, but with Saturn, Neptune, you're often going to find out that the mirage was more real than the reality. Okay, I can tell you that I was for 100% the person that was most accurate in predicting, other than astrologers, people say, well, it's not a sign. They decide when to domino the World Trade Center according to astrology. And we're nearing another such transit. It's not Pluto. I was thinking it's Pluto. It's going to be Neptune, Saturn. And the Venus retrograde with Neptune, Saturn. Especially the Venus retrograde going over Neptune and Saturn. Still in Pisces. I think something ingresses into Aries this month. March is going to be crazy. But anyway, other than that, was a person that I met at the psych ward And he tells me, you look 200 years old. I say, thank you. You look very well. And he says, you are a young soul. Then I try to work with crystals, okay, for those rocks. I give him a black kyanite. He said, now I'm dimension 22. 20 dimension or 22 dimension. And it sounds like the exact stereotype we would have on crazy people. And as I begin to get to know for this person, he tells me things that now I understand was one-to-one more correct than any prediction that anybody made, including the astrologers. He was naturally diagnosed with schizophrenia, you understand. You say, what were these predictions? The fuck I tell you? You tell me I'm crazy? Now! Go to psych ward, speak with people, volunteer or something. Create connections. Get to know what these psychos are talking about. How many people in 2025 think that when somebody says, the intelligence is listening to my calls, they are delusional? You need to be checked, okay? By yourself first. I'm not going to say it because there is going to be pinpointed at somebody that unnecessarily. I'm going to say it in English. I'm half Dutch. And in Netherlands, being normal, okay, is very important. So when we see, public personas connected with kind of Epstein-like scandals, it's normal. We have to reconsider, what do we think is not normal? And how do we let that distract us? Because when a person wants to frame a person, they are going to make them look funny. How does that distract us of those things that we should never be perceiving as normal or normalized?